Hello and welcome to Hops and Bros. This week, we're going to be talking about dry hopping. Chris, did I scare you there?
You just saw me hopping on camera. Which...
I did see you hop. I wish this was planned. It really wasn't.
It wasn't planned, it just looked like a fool. So yes, dry hopping this week.
For an open window on a crappy world, Max and Chris from Ups and Brews. Ups and Brews. Welcome to Ups and Brews.
Oh, we all have fancy glassware.
Yeah, fancy glasses. Wellington, Cask Fest. Awesome glass. Love it. Love the brewery. Love the beer. See them around.
Is it both for us a day without beer today?
No, I've had many beers.
Okay,
Today was my sensory class. So we basically go through the whole BJCP, and then we have a select styles, and we have a beer of that style as we're reading the notes and discussing the beer. It's a really interesting class.
Okay.
We're also, if you know Niagara College, if you've been there, the tasting room has a bunch of windows. So anyone who passes by can kind of see what's going on. It's like kind of an attraction. It's like being at a zoo.
Oh. Like when we were at school, right? Like when we were at school, right?
Well, at school. Oh, when you came by?
No, when we did the advertising.
Oh yeah, a little bit the same way, the fishbowl concept. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
it's close.
Perfect. So, enough of all that banter about what our day happened, but today we're talking about dry hopping, and mostly my part is going to be really small and really dumb, but compared to all the knowledge Max is going to drop in a few minutes, it's just going to be amazing. And the reason why, it's because we got inspired from a little trip I did less than 24 hours ago when I visited Max to hand deliver him the Hops and Bros. But also a few other goodies. It was great.
Now I literally I've got a case of Hops and Bros. I'm very happy about it too. It tastes great. It's awesome. After what we've been through to brew it, I'm very happy with the end result.
Super proud.
And we'll leave it at that. Anyways, it was awesome. It's a great beer. Have it. Buy it. Is there still some available at Tuk or?
Yeah, there's still a couple of cases available at Tuk. So if people want to.
If you want to support us, if you want to support Hops and Bros, if you want us to keep on brewing this beer, fly by Embrum and pick up a case or at least a 6-pack of this delicious beer.
And give it a 5 out of 5 on Untappd so it can climb its way through the best beer of Untappd.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's be the best beer on Untappd.
All right, so dry hopping, where did it get started and how this concept in brewing got started? And I think it's a cool, cute story. It started off with a little nun named, I need to get the name, Hildegard. I don't have the proper pronunciation, but she was researching plants, she wrote books, and she was brewing. So she did a lot of experiments with plants, but in Germany, hops were growing out there in the wild. So she realized that actually hops helps keeping the putrefaction at bay. Like keeps putrefaction away. So by dry hopping, yes.
It's basically an antiseptic. It works as a preservative, an antiseptic, and there's also another word that I always forget. It makes you sleepy.
It keeps it like
it's
less active for bacteria.
No, but it's just like when they were picking hops, they would have to be careful because sometimes the workers would literally fall asleep while picking hops in big ladders because it has that preservative, antiseptic, is another word. Anyways, you write in the comments below what it is.
Calming, like that calming effect.
Kind of, but there's a specific word for it in medicine, and yeah, so it's a miracle plant when it comes to that. Hops are really healthy, and they have a lot of properties that are interesting for medical purposes. Anyways, please continue your story.
So brewers starting using hops in their beers, so it preserves itself a lot longer. Fast forward 400 years from that discovery. So the King Henry VI, which was really closely tied with the Pope and all the fancy Catholics people, those guys were, let's say it was the old time Team Lactose against Team No Lactose battle. The Catholics were really Team No Hops. They were brewing 100% Groots, and they had the whole monopoly on Groots, which was because of the hops team getting a lot stronger on one end. Then the King Henry VI banned hops to give the Catholics that extra edge with their Groots to keep making mad money with this beer. Fast forward to the past, I guess, or this present century, when the craft beer industry kind of like boomed up, IPAs showing up everywhere, brewers starting experimenting a lot more with dry hopping, and ending up with using a lot of that technique to bring most of the flavors you see in beer. And lately we're talking double dry hopping, triple dry hopping. So this is something that I think US is pushing super far, but also super stoked to see how this technique can affect beer in general. Which, Max, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, so you've touched on three interesting points. The first one being that Groots historically probably had hops implemented in the flower profile at some point. It's highly disputed, but just the way we see the beer evolution, it just makes sense that hops were always kind of in the mix somewhere. Okay. Number two, there was a big war between the government and the church as to how you should use either Groot or you should use hops. The government had the monopole of the hops. Church had the monopole of the Groot. I'm bastardizing that story, but it's kind of the two sides. It went up to a point where in Germany, the government banned Groot usage, which kind of cut some funding for the church and gave more funding for the government. It's again, you go back to the Reinheitsgebot where there's 4 ingredients in beer and all that jazz. Now, from there, modern times, dry hopping, super important. So there's 3 ways you can use your hops effectively. The first one is to add them beginning of boil, or at least while it's still, beginning of boil, because the longer your hop is exposed to heat, the more alpha acid isomerization that you're gonna get, which means that you're gonna translate those alpha acids into bitterness. Second way to use it is end of boil in your whirlpool. At that point, you're not you're not extracting as much alpha acids. You're actually extracting a lot more flavors from your hops. So that's where your essential oils that are present on the hops get really, really important, really interesting, and add a lot of flavors to your beer. Dry hopping is a little different, where you actually add your hops in the fermenter. Highly disputed, highly researched. It's kind of a new technique-ish in the sense that we haven't put a lot of research, but recently we've discovered, as an industry, that when you add your hops is going to be tremendously important as to what you're going to extract flavor-wise. By dry hopping in your fermenter, you're not extracting any alpha acids, or at least a very, very small amount, because you're not heating them. So you're not getting an isomerization. Anyways, you're not extracting any alpha acids. You're extracting a lot of essential oils from those hops, which are going to translate especially into aromatics. Now, with the other thing that's important to note as to why timing is super important when it comes to dry hopping is your yeast is actually going to go eat up some of those essential oils and create new ones. So your linalool, your geraniol are going to end up being changed into citronellol or other essential oils, and basically change your flavor profile of the hop that you added. Which can be really interesting, but also really dangerous if you're not looking for those flavors by dry hopping that.
Okay, so the fermentation will affect the dry hopping. So let's say you go with a full citrus forward hop and you're really proud about it, you paid big bucks for it, and you want the full potential of this hop. But using it with a yeast that you might not know will affect it in a way that might turn it into a more piney hop, if I'm not wrong. But it's not.
Yeah,
like,
that's that's pretty much it. So if you say you dry hop at the beginning of fermentation, your yeast going to eat a lot of that, and you're going to get a lot of off flavors you weren't expecting. Say you put it after your yeast is done, you might not extract as much of the essential oils as you would want. So you kind of have to find that sweet spot after a couple days of fermentation where your yeast is still active but not quite as aggressive. Then add your dry hop to get those citrusy flavors you wanted for your double dry hopped IPA.
Okay.
Another place where this gets really interesting and why dry hopping was used way before the time we thought it was used was for sours and lambics and gueus. Hops, because of the antiseptic property, kind of suppresses lactobacillus and pediococcus and other bacteria in your beer. So instead of having to reboil your wort to be able to get rid of those bacteria, as you dry hop it, it suppresses the bacteria and your yeast then comes in and finishes the job. Yeast and lactobacillus work very well together. There's some theories that they might have evolved at the same time in the same kind of environment, because lacto kind of brings the pH down to a point where yeast is very comfortable, and yeast is going to create also kind of an environment where lacto is going to be a little more comfortable, which is kind of a neat little thing that those two bacteria and the yeast have together.
That's such a beautiful love story. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a love story, or just just good pals like Hops and Rose.
We're just like yeast and lacto.
We're just like yeast and lactobacillus, man. Yeah. Well, you know what? Let us know in the comments below who you think is yeast, who you think is lacto. Did you have anything else to add, or are we ending this on this note?
No, not at all. I just think I already feel like I'm lacto just because I'm a lot more tart or acidic. Like,
we'll see. We'll see what the folks decide to say. But if you like this video, please let us know by liking the video. Let us know in the comments below. Share it with your friends, and we will see you in the next episode.
Also,
the next show. Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, I don't know what I was supposed to add. Yeah, sorry.
If you're around Embrum, yeah, okay.
Yeah, grab beer from Embrum. That's it. It's such super awkward.
Is that what it was? Yeah, so there's still beer available. So if you have a chance, if you're close to Ottawa, if you're on the 417 between Ottawa and Montreal, stop at Embrum, grab a couple cans or a case, and try it out. I mean, it's pretty awesome that we get to do this, and we want you guys to enjoy it as much as possible, and also let us know what you think of the beer.
Means a lot.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Oh, like figurative cheers. I don't actually have a glass, so yeah.
Yeah, I have like a glass of water. Not the same thing.
It's fair.